Hello, I'm Harriet Armstrong, the Health and Human Sciences educator for Purdue Extension in Bartholomew County.
Hello, I am Linda Curley, and I'm a Health and Human Sciences educator with Purdue University Extension. Today we are going to be using a hot pack method to can sweet cucumber pickles.
Before beginning our canning project today, we will be sure to wash our hands well with soap and water. We'll also make sure that all of our equipment has been washed and that our surfaces have been cleaned and sanitized. The recipe we are using today comes from the 6th edition of the So Easy to Preserve cookbook, and the ingredients include cucumbers that are medium-sized and unwaxed, vinegar which is at 5% acidity, canning or pickling salt, and then sugar.
To complete our equipment preparation, we want to temper our jars by placing them in hot water. Since our processing time is at least 10 minutes, sterilization of the jars is not necessary. The labeling of the lid flats to show the name of the product and the date with a permanent marker is important for making sure we use older canned products first.
In starting our food preparation, we'll need to wash our cucumbers and prepare them for cutting into spears. Notice that we are using an unwaxed cucumber. This ensures that the boiling water is easily penetrating the skin during the pickling process to be sure that our pickles have been processed to the correct temperature. The waxed skin of store-bought cucumbers can often inhibit penetration and can become a food safety issue.
It's important to slice 1/16 inch off the blossom ends and discard. If the blossom end is left on, it causes a softening of the pickles. The cucumbers are cut into spears to allow a better fill for the jars. The spears are placed in a bowl so that boiling water can be poured over the cucumbers. They are left to stand for 5 to 10 minutes.
The hot water is drained off and cold water is poured over the cucumbers. An easy way to do this is by running water over the cucumbers until they are cooled.
The vinegar, salt, and sugar are all mixed and brought to a boil. The cucumbers can then be placed in the boiling liquid. This mixture is brought back to a boil. Once the mixture has reached a boil, the burner is turned off. We're going to take the heated jars and place the pickle spears in them, making sure that we leave a 1/2 inch headspace at the top. The jars can now be filled with the hot vinegar, sugar, and salt mixture by using a canning funnel and a ladle. We want to make sure that the headspace is right at 1/2 inch for proper sealing and food safety. To eliminate air bubbles within the jar, we are using a bubble freer. A plastic knife could also be used to go around the edges, gently shifting the food so that the air trapped inside is released. Do not use a metal utensil, as this can scratch the inside of the glass, which can weaken the glass, causing possible breakage during processing.
The filled jars are placed in the simmering hot water bath canner, while being careful not to tilt the jars. For our hot pack pickles, the water in the canner should be 180 degrees. The canner should be full. If it is not, position empty jars within the spaces so that there is no movement of the jars within the canner. We want to make sure our jars are covered with at least 1 inch of water. The lid is then placed on the canner so we can bring it to a rolling boil. We will start our timer for 10 minutes once the rolling boil begins, and will maintain that level of boiling throughout the 10 minutes. The jars must remain covered with water throughout the processing time. After the 10 minutes of processing time, we turn off our burner, remove the canner lid, and wait 5 minutes before removing the jars from the canner. The jars are lifted straight up and placed on dry towels or a cooling rack to keep them from breaking, which can happen if they come in contact with a cold surface. We also do not want to place them where they could be in a cold draft. We will allow the jars to sit undisturbed for 12 to 24 hours so they can cool. This includes not tightening the bands or pressing down on the lids. After the jars are completely cooled, we can check to see if they are properly sealed after 12 to 24 hours. It is common to hear a popping sound during the time the jars are cooling. To test for proper sealing, it is important to look at the lid flat to see if it is slightly curved downward in the middle and does not move when pressed with a finger. Jar bands should be removed for storage. The jars should be stored for 4 to 5 weeks to develop the ideal flavor.
These home-canned sweet cucumber pickles will be a welcomed addition to meals in the months to come.